Hello and welcome to the HoverCam CenterStage Generation 3 training video. My name is Lloyd Wafer. I'm the education consultant here at HoverCam, and I'll be guiding you through the features and functions of your new CenterStage model. So right out of the gate, I'd just like to announce that we're excited about a lot of the improved functionality and really cool, powerful features that we've added with this new generation model. All of those will be covered in detail as we move through the features and functions. As you get started using your unit, we're going to continue to recommend that as you seek to download new applications onto your device, that you use the Aptoide app to search and find those applications. Aptoide should come pre-installed on your CenterStage model, but if for whatever reason it's not loaded onto your model, you can simply open up the browser, search for Aptoide, and download it directly from the browser. When you're navigating through applications, we do have a few recommendations for starter apps right out of the gate. So we'd like to recommend new units download, of course, the Aptoide app for finding new applications, but beyond that, we recommend downloading Adobe Acrobat so that you can upload and pull PDF files, having a reader for those PDF files that you may pull from flash drives or your computer. And then we'll also recommend PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint and Microsoft Word, or the full Microsoft Office suite, depending on which files you may regularly use in your instruction, so that you have a reader loaded and ready to open and access those files. So now we'll take a look at one of the major changes that we made between generations here, which is your navigation tool. In previous generations, we had a swipe up menu, which would allow you to access tools and features. Now we have a side swipe menu, which can be accessed by swiping inward from the side of the screen, either on the right side of the screen or from the left side of the screen. Your side swipe menu can be collapsed by swiping back outwards towards the bezel to collapse and minimize that side swipe menu. Now, since the side swipe menu is accessed by gesturing and swiping inward, we also added an additional button, mechanical button, at the bottom of your console here. Now, to the farthest right is your gesture control button. By toggling your gesture controls on and off, you'll essentially turn off access to this side swipe menu. So when my gesture controls are turned off, I cannot swipe to pull out that side swipe menu. Now this is very useful for when you're navigating inside applications or websites that might generate content on the sides of your screen that you need to interact with. So that you don't accidentally pull out your side swipe menu, you can simply tap your gesture controls to turn them off, and then you'll be able to interact with content that's on that side of the screen. When you're ready to navigate through that application or pull up your home screen, simply tap that gesture control button to turn your gesture controls on, and then you'll once again be able to access your side swipe menu. So now let's take a look at all of the different tools and features that can be accessed through your side swipe menu. We'll start at the top and work our way down. At the top here, you'll notice your source selection icon. This, when tapped, will access all of the available source selection ports. So as you're connecting external devices, such as a computer or a tablet, whichever port you're accessing and connecting to, you can simply tap the source selector icon and the corresponding port source. Underneath your source selector icon is your back arrow icon, indicated with the arrow pointing inward. This will allow you to navigate back to any previous page that's been displayed. This is a very useful tool, especially when you're navigating within applications. If you notice you get stuck within the menu navigation of an app, you can always pull out your home swipe, side swipe menu, and press that back button to navigate back. So for example, if I pull up my apps page and I want to restore, I can press back and it will revert me back to my previous page. This is a button you'll be using frequently and often and can be accessed very easily in that side swipe menu. Underneath the back arrow is your home button. We say here at HoverCam, when in doubt, hit that home button, because if you're navigating through a program or an application and you can't quite figure out how to revert to a specific page, at any point, if you're stuck, you can tap that home button and it will take you back to this home screen that you see here. From the home screen, you can access other tools and features, so it's a great route when in doubt. Underneath your home button are our side swipe tools. Now when tapped, this will expand and open up a sub-menu of options and tools. So we'll explore these going from right to left. First up in your tools bar is your overlay annotation tool. Now this is one of the newest, most exciting features of the Gen 3 model because it will allow you to make and mark annotations on top of other programs, applications, websites, and even live video. So simply tap that overlay annotation tool to begin overlay annotations. You'll notice the annotation toolbar will generate at the bottom, and right away you can begin marking and making annotations anywhere on the plane of view. So to further understand the desktop annotation marker, we'll take a quick tour through the features and tools that pop up on that annotation toolbar. We'll go from left to right. So at the farthest left, the picture with a paper and a pencil is going to be your main pencil tool icon controls. So when tapped, this will generate a pop-up menu that will allow you to cycle through different colors for your current paintbrush. You can also adjust the stroke size with the slider here, and you'll get a nice preview menu of what the annotation is going to look like directly above the slider. Now you'll notice there is no input or button for the eraser, and that is because another additional feature that we've added with this new generation of model is gesture erase controls. So when you're ready to make an eraser, just simply make a blade palm with the palm of your hand and swipe and make contact with the screen, the area that you wish to erase, and it will naturally make those erasers, allowing you to flow seamlessly between marking annotations and making quick eraser adjustments. Inside the paintbrush settings, you can adjust the eraser size. So if you need to make the eraser smaller to accommodate smaller hands, or if you'd like to erase a more fine area of view, you can adjust that eraser slider under your paintbrush settings icon. Next to the paintbrush settings, we have our undo and redo button. These will allow you to cycle through changes and annotations that you make really quickly on the fly. So if I mark an annotation on my field and I want to undo those strokes, I can cycle through multiple iterations of actions that I've taken, and using the redo button, I can cycle back forward through those. So this will hopefully open up seamless editing and revision on the fly when you're in front of your student or audience. Next to the redo button is our clear all icon. It's indicated by a piece of paper with a broom icon sweeping. When tapped, this will activate a confirmation page reminding you that when you use the clear all feature, it clears those annotations completely from the memory, so you won't be able to tap the undo button and undo that annotation. So it gives you a nice warning saying that the clearing is irrevocable after clearing. You can either cancel that or confirm that, and it will clear all of the annotations that you have on your page, giving you a nice fresh canvas to continue marking annotations. Next to the clear all icon, located at the center of our annotation toolbar, the minimize options, an arrow pointing down with an outlined circle around it. When tapped, this will reduce your annotation overlay menu, freeing up more space on the field of view for marking and making annotations. To restore that bar, simply tap the gray arrow pointing up to reappear or regenerate that toolbar at the bottom of your screen. Next to the reduction button is our save icon indicated with the save symbol. When you have annotations on your screen that you're ready to save and archive for later reference, simply tap that save icon and you will be given the following options. You can immediately choose to rename the file, and it's indicated at the top there, so that'll help you keep your files organized. And then you can also decide where you would like that image to be saved, either locally or saving it directly to a USB flash drive. We'll talk more about connecting USB flash drives and external storage later on in our video. Once you've decided your destination and file name, simply tap OK, and that file will automatically be saved and stored under your ES file manager. Another feature that we'll cover in detail is accessing those files that you've created and stored. Next to our save icon is our image insert icon. This will allow you to insert images onto your annotation field. So when tapped, this will begin the process of asking you where you would like to import that picture from, either internal storage, or perhaps you might have an external flash drive connected that you'd like to pull documents and images from. So I'm just going to go ahead and select a random whiteboard screenshot that I previously saved. It's not terribly exciting, but it will give me a preview of that image. I can then use pinch to zoom controls, 2 points of contact, to pinch and zoom in on that image, rotate that image, reduce it, or simply use one finger to slide it to the desired area of the field of view. And from here, I can either delete that image altogether by selecting the X icon, or once I know where I want my image oriented, I can select the white check symbol to paste that annotation in its desired location. Now, once this annotation image is pasted, it cannot be edited and resized or adjusted. So if you notice that you need to make an adjustment to an image that's been pasted, simply use your gesture controls to erase that image and then reinsert it at the proper size and orientation. And next to our image insert icon is our cropping tool. When selected, it will open up a cropping window, and you'll notice points of contact around the perimeter of that cropping window. Any of those points of contact can be dragged to expand or collapse your cropping field of view. And finally, next to our cropping tool, we have a shortcut route to our whiteboarding application. So when tapped, this will launch you into the full whiteboarding app if you desire to have a full whiteboard canvas for your annotations. So even if you're web browsing and making annotations, or inside of an application and making annotation, at any point you can tap that whiteboard app icon to launch the full whiteboarding application. We'll cover the whiteboarding app in more detail in a later section. But at any point when you're ready to return to your home screen, you'll notice that at the bottom left corner there is a door exit symbol. Tapping that door exit symbol will prompt an exit confirmation screen for you to determine whether or not you'd like to save your content before exiting out. Right now we're not going to save. And this will return you to your home page. Similarly, when you're making your annotations and you're using your overlay annotation tool, once you've decided you're done making those annotations, at any point you can remove this annotation tool by selecting the same back icon. You will get the same exit prompt confirmation. We don't need to save these annotations now, and then you'll be back on your home screen. So that is our desktop annotation tool. The next tool in our side swipe menu that we'll be covering is our settings shortcut route. It's indicated by a gear symbol, and when tapped, this will open up all of your system-wide settings controls, allowing you to make adjustments and configurations. So for example, you can browse your system's storage, seeing how much data and memory you currently have available both on the system's internal hard drive and connected storage devices. So having this in your side swipe menu, the system, is a great way to make adjustments to your sound. If you need to make adjustments to your Wi-Fi network, all of those connectivity and user experience adjustments are going to be accessed through your settings in the side swipe menu. Next up, we're going to cover the file extension. So when tapped, this will give you a quick route to your ES file reader, your file manager app. So we're going to cover in more detail how to access and pull files later on, but just note that in your side swipe bar there is a quick route. By tapping the folder symbol, you can access and find your files easily and readily. Next up, we'll cover the Snapshot tool in your side swipe bar. It's indicated by a camera icon. When you're making notes and progress and annotations on your board, if you notice that you want to save and capture that work for later reference, you can simply tap that icon. It will give you that on-screen visual indication that the image was captured, and it will show you confirmation to the bottom right, as well as give you information about where that file was currently stored. all your files, including screenshots, can be accessed through your file manager. So you'll have a quick and easy reference using your pull-out side swipe menu to snap snapshots on the fly in real time as you move through the delivery of your content. And lastly, on your side swipe toolbars, you'll notice to the far left there is a volume icon which will allow you to digitally slide and adjust the volume of your panel. The volume of your panel, of course, can also be adjusted using the mechanical buttons featured at the bottom right of your panel. And the last icon you'll see on your side swipe menu is your freeze icon, indicated with this ice crystal. This is useful for when you have external devices displaying onto your panel, such as a laptop or tablet. You can tap this icon and it will freeze or pause that image still. That way you can navigate on that device, changing and queuing up your next content. And when you're ready for your audience to see that next content, you can tap to unfreeze that. So we'll cover this in more detail and show it to you in real time when we cover connecting external devices to your panel. So that's a quick overview of all the tools and functions that you'll be using most frequently in your side swipe menu. Now we're going to take a look at when you're at your home screen, what do you see and what can you navigate through using these icons and tools at the bottom of your home screen. We'll cover these from left to right. So at the far left corner, you'll see you have a native browser application. When activated, this will launch you into your standard Android web browsing tool. So most of your controls and navigation are going to happen along the top here. Things like bookmarking a page by tapping that star icon and selecting where you'd like to have that page saved, or pulling up previously bookmarked pages. You can also open additional tabs by tapping that plus tab icon there, or close and exit out of open tabs. You can cycle through back and forth through your web browsing pages, and you can also refresh or stop the page from loading in. So explore the features of your browser toolbar here, but keeping of note that these toolbar navigations are your standard Android web browser navigation tools. Next up on our home screen, we'll take a look at the whiteboarding tool. Now you'll notice that the whiteboarding tool and your desktop annotation overlay tool have very similar interface and icons with just a few subtle differences. So as we take a look at your main canvas for whiteboarding, to the far left, this time you'll notice there's a little paint can icon. It's kind of tipping over. This will allow you to adjust and change the actual background for your canvas for your whiteboard annotations. You can select a set color, or you can select this image icon and select from additional backgrounds such as sheet music or a field of play for sports coaching, etc. So once you've selected your background, you can just tap anywhere else on the field of view to begin marking annotations. And with this Gen 3 model, you're going to get that much faster, more responsive annotation marks as the digital ink begins to flow, kind of like a pen, ink flowing from a pen from your finger. Very fast, very responsive. Similarly to that overlay annotation tool, the paintbrush icon indicated by a piece of paper and a pencil will allow you to make changes to the color as well as the stroke size of your annotations that you make. And you can also adjust the eraser size here. And that's going to be the eraser for your gesture controls. So if this eraser default is too thick or big for precise erasures that you like to make, just go ahead and adjust that eraser size there, that slidable bar. You'll also notice that you have undo and redo buttons so that I can quickly undo annotations that I've made if I mark and make annotations, and I'll do a few different groups here. I can undo individual annotations one at a time, or I can redo them if I'd like to restore them. It'll allow you to navigate quickly through your annotations. At the center of our toolbar here is the option to condense or collapse that menu. So when tapped, it will reduce that toolbar, giving you more real estate on your canvas. You can restore that toolbar by tapping the gray up arrow that appears at the bottom of your screen. Next to that is our Clear All icon, indicated by a piece of paper with a broom icon. When tapped, this will allow you to clear all of your annotations all at once, but you will be prompted with this clear confirmation screen. Since clearing all of the annotations all at once is irreversible, you will have to confirm. It will say irrevocable after cleaning. And that simply means that now that I've made that eraser, I cannot now go back and undo that eraser. So make sure that you have either saved annotations before clearing them all, or that you know that you do not need those annotations before using the clear all. Otherwise, use the gesture erase if you just need to erase individual parts of the screen. And next to the erase all icon is our save icon. When you're making annotations that you'd like to record for later use and reference, simply tap that save icon and you'll be prompted with the following options. It will allow you to adjust the file name at the top by selecting that file name and typing in a more accurate descriptor name. And then you can also select where you would like this file to be saved, either locally or to a flash drive. You can also save either the current page that is being displayed, or if you have multiple pages of annotations up and running, you can choose to save all of those pages at once. Once you've made your save selections, go ahead and select OK. And that screenshot will be saved as indicated by a nice friendly reminder there above your toolbar. All your images, screenshots that are saved can be accessed through your ES file reader. Next to the save icon is our image insert tool. This will allow you to take images that you have either saved locally or on flash drives that you found online and insert them into your annotation tool, allowing you to adjust them and make and mark annotations on top of them. So when selected, this will prompt you to the Import Pictures menu. And this will allow you to browse through your system, locating pictures or images. I'm going to go to screenshots, just previous screenshots that we've captured. And this is a screenshot of my home page. Once that image preview is generated, you can use pinch to zoom controls, either 2 points of contact, to pinch to zoom in or zoom out of an image. You can also rotate that image using those pinch to zoom controls. And a single finger can be used to position that image where you would like it on the screen. If you would like to delete that image for whatever reason, simply select the X out icon. Or if you're ready to paste that image in its desired location, simply select the white check icon to paste that image there on the screen. Now, once that image is pasted, it cannot be readjusted, resized, or rearranged at that point. So if I notice I need to make an adjustment to an image that I've already pasted, I simply need to use my gesture eraser controls to erase that image and then use the same procedure to reinsert it, the proper arrangement and alignment. Next to our image insert options is our cropping tool. When tapped, this will give you a cropping field of view, and you'll notice that there are points of contact along the perimeter of that cropping field. I can make contact with any of those points and either expand or collapse the cropping field of view. And lastly, one of the differences you'll notice in this toolbar versus the desktop annotation marker tool is you can use the function of the split screen, and this will allow you to split your panel into 3 separate screens. So when tapped, this will launch you into this mode automatically. You'll notice there's a white line dividing the 3 sections of the screen. Now you can invite up to 3 different users to have their own canvas on the screen. They'll have access to a reduced toolbar here, allowing them to cycle through different pen colors or clear their annotations. So as they mark annotations on the screen, you'll notice that individual users can use the panel at the same time. And this mode will prevent one user's annotations from marking into another's field of view. So as this user's marking and marking and marking, if they go over into the other user's space, they won't encroach upon that user's space. So it's a nice way to divide up for multiple users, either for centers or other educational purposes. Again, simple controls, reduced controls for this, allowing you to have your users use it right out of the gate with minimal instructions, but you will want to set some expectations around procedures and expectations at the board. At any point when you're ready to return, you can simply either back out or tap that home button that's indicated at the bottom left. A couple different routes for that. Now, as you're working through your annotations, you'll from time to time want to have multiple pages of annotations up and running. So you'll notice at the bottom right of the screen here is our page indicator. At any point I can press this plus icon and I can generate a brand new canvas. I'll change the background of this canvas just for frame of reference. Now you'll see a page counter indicator at the bottom right. Right now it's saying I'm on page 2 out of 2. And these arrow icons to the left or the right of the page indicator will allow me to cycle through my active pages in real time. Again, I can snap snapshots of those screens at any time by snapping the save icon. When I'm ready to exit my whiteboarding tool, I simply select the back out icon located at the bottom left corner. It will prompt me through my exit procedures to confirm if I'd like to save these annotations or not. For the purposes of today, I won't. Now, next up on our home screen, we'll take a look at our All Apps icon. So when selected, this will pull up all of the applications that are currently installed on the board. And you'll notice there are a lot more icons here than were on my home screen. That is because you can choose which of these icons you would like to have shortcutted to your home screen. But from here, scrolling left to right, you can cycle through pages of whatever apps you might have installed. We only have one page worth of apps installed on this board, so there aren't additional pages. But as you begin to download more and more apps, those apps will populate to the right of this page, and you can cycle through by using your swipe left controls. So any of these applications can be posted to my home page for easy and convenient access. So for example, if I have a Microsoft Word file, I simply press a long finger hold onto that app, and then once this menu pulls up, I simply drag it to my field of view, and it will automatically generate that on my home screen for quick and convenient access. Now you'll notice I currently have 2 copies of the Microsoft Word shortcut installed on my home page. It's a little redundant, so when you need to remove these shortcuts from your home screen, simply press another long hold onto that icon. You'll notice the word remove generates at the top of the screen. Then go ahead and drag that up to the remove icon and release it, and it will be removed from your desktop. Now that application will still be installed on your panel, so it won't uninstall the application, it just removes it from your desktop. If you would like to uninstall an application that you no longer have use for, go to your All Apps page as seen here, and from this page, press another long hold onto that application. But rather than dragging it into your desktop screen, drag it up to the uninstall icon, the top left corner. You can also drag your apps over to the app info to generate information about that application. But when you're ready to install, simply hover it over and release. Now, I'm not going to release that in the uninstall because we want to keep Word installed on here. But as you find you're ready to delete those programs, it's a simple route to uninstall those apps. The next item on our home screen that we're going to cover is our File Manager. Now, this is going to be the main route for accessing and pulling files that you have either saved internally on the panel or through USB connected storage. So I would like to note for new screen users, in your All Apps tool, you'll notice you do have an app called the ES File Explorer. Now that is the same program that you saw on your home screen. So to make another convenient route, one thing you might want to do is press a long hold on that ES File Explorer and just drag it to your desktop so you have another shortcut to access those files. So both the ES File Explorer and the File Manager are 2 routes to use to access your saved media, be it pictures, images, or documents. All right, so let's take a look at the File Explorer. When opened up, you'll be able to see all of the available files that you can open to the right side of the screen, and on the left side of the screen, you'll see available destinations to search for that content. So if you tap your home screen, you'll see your native internally stored documents. So I'm going to scroll over here. I'm just going to pick pictures, and this is my screenshot folder. So this is going to be screenshots that I've captured while working and teaching and instructing. I can browse throughout the entire content of all available files and images stored here. Now, when you're connecting external devices such as a USB flash drive, currently have a USB flash drive connected to the front of my panel here in the media USB port. So I want to point out and make that distinction that the files are going to be pulled from the media USB port, because you notice that there are multiple USB ports both on the front and the back. So I have my flash drive currently connected to that media USB port, and in my locations bar it has already generated that flash drive. It's identified it as SDA1, and that's going to be the default name that it generates for any external flash drives that you connect to your panel. So when you tap that SDA1 icon, you can see all of the files that are currently saved to whatever storage device is connected. I can browse through these, and when I'm ready to make a selection, select that desired file. Now I will open up, I have multiple programs and applications that could potentially read and open that file. So it will ask me which is my desired location. I can select at the bottom here to set the default app, and then once I've made that selection, it won't generate this window every time. So for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to leave that box unchecked. I'm going to go ahead and select Adobe Acrobat, since this is a PDF file, and it will automatically generate that file. Now you'll notice I have interactive tools, and again I can annotate within that program, and at any point I can use my annotation overlay tool to annotate on top of programs as well. And the last icon on your home screen is your source selector. Now this is the same source selector that generates when you pull out your side swipe menu. So it's just two different routes to accessing which source you'd like the panel to search for, which port for connecting external devices, which we'll cover next. Okay, now we'll take a look at how to connect external computers, laptops, desktop computers to your panel. And once again, we do recommend that your CenterStage is going to be at its best, and you're going to get the most out of it when you do pair it with an external computer for that additional processing power and memory. So simply determine which connection port via HDMI or other connection ports you'd like to connect through. On your CenterStage Generation 3 model, you'll notice you have multiple HDMI ports. For the purposes of this demonstration, I've connected to the back panel to the HDMI 3 port. Now, since I'd like to also control my panel using touch controls, I'm going to select and connect the USB touch cable included with your CenterStage model to the corresponding USB touch port located on the back. So since I'm connecting to HDMI 3, I'm going to connect my USB touch to USB touch 3 so that those line up. Once those are connected to the panel, I'm going to take my device that I wish to connect. In this case, I'm going to connect a PC laptop, and simply connect the corresponding ports. In this case, we're doing HDMI, and then USB for that USB touch functionality. Now, if the panel does not automatically generate that screen mirroring, remember you can select from your home screen either the source icon here, or if you're not at your home screen, you can use that pull-out menu and select the source icon there. So since I know I connected to HDMI 3, it registered it there automatically, and it pulled up, and it's now mirroring my laptop's home screen. Since I've connected that USB touch to the corresponding port and my laptop, I can use touch controls now to navigate and control my laptop. And once again, I can use the native side swipe annotation tools, and then I can begin annotating and marking on top of that as well. I'm going to go ahead and clear these annotations and exit out of this annotation tool. So it's really easy to connect those external devices. Once that's up and running with your touch connectivity, interacting with the panel is going to function exactly like interacting and navigating on your personal computer, personal device. All right, I hope you've enjoyed our preview and look at the features and functions of the CenterStage Generation 3 model. Once again, my name is Lloyd Wafer. I'm the education consultant here, and I'm available as an ongoing resource as you begin to navigate and use your CenterStage. Please feel free to reach out to me with any additional questions or collaboration opportunities. I'd like to thank you on behalf of all of us here at HoverCam for choosing HoverCam. We hope you enjoy your CenterStage model. Enjoy the rest of your day.